evening. First and foremost, I wanted to thank everyone. For being able to attend our first Real Talk Tuesday event. Real Talk Tuesday, Women at Ford. Really excited that you all are here, and really excited that you all are a part of our, authentic conversation, genuine conversation, and really, really pleased to bring these amazing folks to the panel to engage with you all today. So for more than a century, Ford has been a pioneer in providing opportunity to people regardless of race, gender, ability, sexual orientation, and background. We view this less with pride than the sober realization that we must go further to create a company where our differences are truly valued and every team member can bring their whole selves to work. Creating a culture of belonging isn't just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing. Diversity brings innovation, and companies that attract the most talented and diverse workforce will succeed in our rapidly changing world. At Ford, we are family, we celebrate our differences, and we all belong. So I want to welcome you all to our event, Real Talk Tuesday Women at Ford. We have created the Real Talk Tuesday series to give you an exclusive opportunity to hear from 3 of our current employees about their experiences working for Ford Motor Company through an identity-based lens. Ford Motor Company believes in doing the right thing, and a part of that is welcoming employees to be their whole selves without judgment. I wanted to kick things off by introducing our panelists for this evening. So our first panelist is Crucita Santiago-Santana. She is an alumnus of University of Puerto Rico at Rio Piedras. She's a part of the sales and marketing team. She's a sales and marketing manager, and she has been with Ford for 17 years. Our second panelist is Maya Makhlouf. She attended the University of Michigan for her bachelor's and master's degree. She's a crash safety engineer and has worked at Ford Motor Company for 2 years. And our third panelist is Danielle Sligh. She is an alumnus of Florida A&M University, Strayer University, and George Washington University. She's been employed with Ford Motor Company for 18 years. So we are excited to kick things off with you all. We are going to jump into some of the questions that you all have submitted, and we're going to kick it off to our panelists, right? So our first question. So Ford has demonstrated a commitment to diversity and inclusion by endorsing and leveraging the power of our employee resource groups, various organizations of employees who share similar characteristics or lived experiences and desire to use those similarities to create cross-functional workplace connections, provide professional development, and advance business imperatives. So the first question is, are you involved in any Ford employee resource groups? And if so, can you speak to your experiences in them? And we're going to kick it off with Danielle.
Thank you, Rob. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those that are watching it on playback, thank you for watching. Yeah, I've been involved in several of our employee resource groups. First with Women in Manufacturing, which is now Women of Ford. That's been a tremendous organization and really supporting the initiatives and experiences of women here at Ford Motor Company. I'm also very involved in actually our very first ERG fan that supports our Black and African American employees, the Ford Employee African Ancestry Network. That's really just dedicated to that professional and personal development of our employees. And through HR fan, because I am a member of our HR team, it's really that community and that network that I need, that I needed when I crossed over from working in operations at Ford Credit into HR. I found that HR fan was really a place that helped me to kind of get, my feet within the function. And now I'm at the place where I can pour back into others, just like it was poured into me when I first started with the company. And then I'll also say that I've also had an opportunity to be an ally in some of the other ERGs that we have, like our Ford Chinese Association. I was able to help them with standing up their mentoring circles. So it's very, the door is very wide open in terms of getting involved in ERGs, both for those diverse dimensions that you recognize, as well as with any of them. It's an open door for everyone to participate.
Thank you. Cressida?
Yes, thank you. So I participate in a few ERGs as well. I normally have participated in the Ford Hispanic Network. They're in different areas since I was in Michigan, and now that I'm in Texas, it has been a lot of fun to just get to know Hispanics in different areas of the organizations, and very diverse group of Hispanics, right? Because we're very different, from Mexico all the way to Ushuaia in Argentina. So that has been a lot of fun. I also participate in Women of Ford, and currently I am part of a team who does the Marketing, Sales, and Service Women of Ford newsletter. And we meet every month and we put a newsletter together to kind of promote health, mental health, and well-being for all of the women of Ford. And it's been very interesting. And I have also signed up as an ally for the Ford Globe, which is, to support our LGBT plus community. So there's a lot of options of things that you can participate in, and for me, it's just to give something back to the rest of the team.
Awesome. Yes. Lots of opportunities. Maya?
Yeah, so I am also involved with Women of Ford, more of a participatory member, but it's been really great over the last year or so, especially being virtual. I was able to join a mentoring circle, and we meet every week. There's 2 managers who kind of run the circle, and there's about like 8 to 10 of us. It's been really nice to kind of just have this like consistent little group to kind of talk to and get feedback from, and just chat during the day. So yeah, being a part of that has been really awesome. And then I'm also involved with the Society of Women Engineers. Ford has a chapter here, and I know we work closely with Women of Ford to collaborate on various events. So I know for me, being so early in my career, having these just support networks around people to go ask advice from has been really helpful.
Awesome. Yes, it sounds like there are so many opportunities to get involved in, so many different ways to connect and expand those networks, and that is awesome. We're going to go to our next question. So, did you have any preconceived thoughts on the way you would be treated at Ford as a woman? And if so, what was the reality once you started working at Ford Motor Company? And this is going to be for you, Maya.
Okay. Yeah, I think I had preconceived notions of just entering the field of engineering in general. I was worried about, one, being young, right, not being super experienced, and also being a lot of times the only woman in the room. So I was kind of worried that my opinions or my perspectives wouldn't be valued so much. But once I started at Ford, I found it was the complete opposite. There's so many people at this company who love to just take young people under their wing and really teach us and show us the way and leverage our new perspectives that we bring. And so that's part of the reason I chose to come work at Ford, was just because of that really awesome, like, mentoring sort of mentality that we have here. Your opinions are valued regardless if you've been here for 2 years or 20 years. So I really value that, and I found that to be one of the really awesome parts of working at Ford.
Yes. Cressida, same question.
Well, I would say, I don't know if I had a concern in the fact of I was never like a car lover, as I was in college. I don't think I ever paid much attention to a guy that would try to come and talk to me about cars or anything like that. And So for me, when I started with the company, I was like, oh my God, do I need to become like a car enthusiast all of a sudden? And and now I'm still I know a lot about cars and how to sell cars, but not I always tell people I don't know how to fix a car or anything like that. And even though sometimes people will ask me questions that it makes me feel like that's the expectation from random people outside of Ford. But it has been like Maya said, right? It has been like a very welcoming, family oriented. I've made my best friends, my closest friends here at Ford, and I have always found people that are very willing to help, to guide me, and to teach me the things that I need to do in order to be successful in my job.
Yes, yes. Danielle?
Yeah, so having worked in both like the corporate environment and in our plants, I've just being fully transparent, have experienced, instances where, I may be challenged because I'm a part of an underrepresented community, right? Not just as a woman, but as a Black woman. And that's where, kind of going back to your previous question with, our ARGs having that support system and having, those thought partners or, people that you can kind of build around you that can help you kind of talk through some of those tough spots can be like, tremendous. And I think that it's really important. One thing that I've learned for those on the line who may follow Brene Brown, like one of the things she talks about is that setting boundaries can be the biggest gift that you can ever give someone, right? So where they can be very clear on your intent, they can be, very clear on what to expect, if, their actions are, in a certain way. And so really, I've been able to learn from those people, from those both formal and informal mentors about, setting my boundaries, being, very, clear in my intent, not letting people take me outside of my integrity. And then just being true to your word and following through. And I've found that, I've been able to navigate, most situations, pretty flawlessly. So that's kind of been my experience.
Yes, yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate I love Brene Brown, so I really appreciate you sharing that nugget with our viewers as well. Lots of great information. She's
Brene
phenomenal.
Brown is
Uh,
for sure.
so going into our next question. So Ford Motor Company, believes in doing the right thing. And a part of that is having employees able to come to work as their whole selves. So how are you able to bring your whole self to work? And we're going to start this one off with you, Cressida.
I think it's so important to bring your whole self to work, right? And that's why I don't necessarily believe in the work-life balance type of thinking. Because a few years back, I heard this thing. It was called work-life integration, and I love that concept. And kind of like I just dropped the work-life balance out of my vocabulary because really it's very hard to really have a balance of the different roles that you have in your life. There's always going to be a little bit of an imbalance, and versus thinking of myself as a one person. I am the family member, I am the mom, I am the Hispanic, I am all of these things that say who I am, and it's just one person. And I can't leave it on the door. I have to bring it to work. And the days that I have to be okay with, if my kids need me during from 8 to 5, I'll be there for them. And if Ford, somebody needs to call me afterwards, I'll probably be there for them too. Because when I get out of Ford, I'm still a Ford employee. And when I'm at Ford, I'm still the mom, the Hispanic, the person who cares about my community, or the person who cares about what's happening in the outside world. And unless you can be relaxed and calm with all of your different roles, you're not going to be able to be efficient at work. Because your mind is going to be so concerned about this other things, or it's actually tiring to try to like act like somebody that you're not, or just kind of like put aside something that's worrying you, or have your mind a little bit unease. So definitely bringing your whole self to work for me is extremely important. And I always tell my team, you have to be who you are. It doesn't matter what. You don't have to change anything for anybody, because that's what makes this place so great.
Love it, love it. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think one of the things that make this place so great is, so many different folks, so many different cultures, and folks showing up authentically representing all of that. And that does make this, a great workplace. We're gonna Danielle, it's the same question.
Yeah, Crucita, I appreciate that perspective. Thank you for that answer, and really just bringing light to how intersectionality is real, right? We are not just one thing. We're not, a monolith in terms of, as Hispanic or Latinx employees or Black employees or even women, right? There's so many other things that go into it and make up who we are. And I'll say that in some of my roles, one of my favorite jobs in managing our culture work was really caring for the employee experience. And it's really not just about the employee experience, but really recognizing that it's the human experience. So just because, the clock has struck 8 a.m., doesn't mean that you now cease to think about or interact with anything else that you had going on in your world, especially now that we've been sent home, right? For the past 18 months, many of us have been at home for the past 18 months. So it's important to recognize that, we are humans, and there's so many other things that go into our experiences, and Ford does a really good job at recognizing that. And we are now really working on a lot of great tools and experiences that are helping our leaders and our peers to really recognize how can we support one another, care for each other, to really make sure that we are able to bring our whole selves to work, that we are able to have that sense of belonging. And it's okay, right? When human things happen to one another, if your kid decided that right now is when he wanted you to, help him brush his teeth, that happens, right? And we just have to be able to embrace that and move forward. Because at the end of the day, it's people. Ford isn't just a place, it's our people. And we have to really embrace that and to make sure that we're able to continue to deliver.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Maya?
Yeah, I think I'm able to bring my whole self to work because everyone around me does. Ford is truly a family company. When we first went to work from home, engineer I worked closely with had a bunch of toddlers, and we called them his little engineers in training, and it was okay when they piped up to contribute to the meeting. Their opinion was valued. So, it really, like, you walk into these environments and everyone is able to share their whole selves at work, and it makes you feel like a family, and it makes you feel like a team, and it really makes Ford. That's one of the unique things I think about Ford, is really that family aspect to all our teams.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a great point. You feel empowered. You feel empowered to show up your whole self because everyone around you is doing that, right? That's the culture. I definitely think that is a great point. Um, Looking at our next question. So our next question is, how has Ford Motor Company supported you around being a new parent or a caregiver? And we're going to start this one off with Danielle.
Well, so I'm not a parent, but I definitely pride myself on collecting people. I am the world's greatest auntie. Okay, so but I've been kind of talking earlier about working in our culture space. I've been a part of some really great initiatives and experiences that Ford has put in place to support our employees that are parents and caregivers. Right, we've created our virtual hug room, right? Hug stands for Human Universal Goodness. And it's just a space, a group chat place where people can come together and replicate that sense of, a warm hug, right? It gives you a sense of comfort. You know that you are supported. And there's actually a special group within there for caregivers. And they interact and give each other advice and support and share resources. And that's just kind of peer-to-peer, right? It's nothing formal, but people just kind of jump in and support one another because we are that Ford family, right? And then last year, we were able to stand up a prototype as parents were kind of experiencing for the first time with homeschooling. They're trying to get logged into WebEx and their kids are getting logged on to Zoom school. And we actually created a prototype where parents, people could volunteer. If I'm an expert in, math or writing or, some other subjects, I could volunteer to be a tutor. And if my kid needed help in that space, I could sign up for a session and we could, just kind of match them up and help one another, right? And that's really a huge part of, our truths and putting people first. And it's also a huge part of Fort Plus where we really care for each other. And that was something that was very simple, but really meaningful in showing that, we're willing to use our resources to help and support one another, again, for that human experience and not just things that are specific to the employee experience.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's the epitome of, we talk about the Ford family, and that is the epitome of that. Now, Maya.
Yeah, so I'm also not a parent, but I have been able to participate in our Ford College Graduate Program, which is our rotational program. And as a part of that, they've been piloting and are now kind of opening up an opportunity to our FCGs for where when somebody goes on parental leave or some kind of long-term leave, an FCG is able to come in and hold that position for the 4 to 6 months that person is gone. And this is a really awesome opportunity because some of the positions that we've been able to take over have been supervisor positions. So you're able to gain incredible leadership opportunities super early in your career and make a really awesome relationship with that person. I know a friend of mine was part of the program, and her and the supervisor she subbed in for, they are still super close to this day, and she's become, an awesome mentor for her. So that's another way that Ford is really sort of leveraging, that opportunity for both new employees and also new parents.
Yes, yes. So opportunities to, step in, and opportunities to get some additional experience under your belt. To kind of, help in, help out, when you think about the Ford family as well, to be able to step in their shoes and be able to also get some additional experience. I think that's awesome. Cressida?
Yeah, so for me, I have two kids. I have a 12 and a 14-year-old, and they've both been at Ford since their beginning. So I would say that Ford has it has to work, right? They have been, because if not, I would not be here. Definitely. I would say, from my pregnancy, Ford has great, very, very good leave for when your maternity leave. It's very a good benefit. And also I was able to like breastfeed my kids, and I was able to like, there's breastfeeding rooms and everybody was very open into that. And I did that for a year, and that was very important for me. And also with our personal days, right? Making sure that if my kid is sick or something is going on in school, that I can participate. There has never been a no to anything that has to do with the kids, and making sure that I can fulfill that mom side of me, that mom role. And I would say everybody has been very supportive. So I can be more than thankful. And now they're 12 and 14. They've been in the office many times before when the offices were open, right? Sometimes I just didn't have anybody to take care of them right then. And they will come, and I'll put them in one of the chairs in the office, and they'll paint and do things or help around, make copies. So it has always worked out. It has always been a very good culture to have kids and raise kids.
Absolutely. So it sounds like, lots of support, from colleagues, and, lots of support, overall from, for folks with kids, caregivers, or, all of that. So that sounds pretty good. Our next question is, what sort of advice might you give to women who might be on the fence about applying to a job at Ford? And we're going to start with Maya.
Okay. My advice is apply. Just apply. Ford is a very big company. There's tons of opportunities, to find what you want to do while you're here. You don't have to know right off the bat. It's also an insanely exciting time to be in this industry. There's so much change coming and so much exciting technology to work on. It's just a really exciting time to be at this industry, and Ford has always been at the forefront of all this technology and all these upcoming changes. So, if that's the spot you want to be in, then apply.
Yes. Cressida?
I am with Maya. I love this company, and I never thought that I would. My husband makes fun of me all the time. He's like, you're bleed for blue so badly, and it's true. It's true. It is a place you'll never get bored. There's always something different to do. I've been with the company 17 years, and probably every 2 years I've had a different job with something completely different where I've learned, and then you never get bored. There's always something exciting happening. The industry has changed a lot from when I started, and the next 5 to 10 years is going to continue to change and evolve. So it's always so interesting to look at. Plus, the benefits at Ford Motor Company, they are top, right? Like the amount of benefits that we get working for this company, from time off, which for me is very important, to just all the different benefits for with your 401ks and everything. It's a great company to work for.
Absolutely. Danielle?
So +1 to everything that Maya and Crucita said. But I will also say, especially because we are talking about women, at Ford, that imposter syndrome is real with us, right? And we oftentimes will kind of minimize our accomplishments or think that, we're not quite ready enough. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there and to really believe that you are enough and that you are talented and that you can do the job, and to go out there and really try, right? Because the answer will always be no if you don't try. But if it is no, then you're not any worse off than if you hadn't kind of put yourself out there. And then it's important to remember that sometimes a setback is a setup for greatness. So if the first answer is no, that might open up a door to get some additional feedback. You're able to kind of learn and grow, and there may be another opportunity that comes around. So don't be afraid to go out there, especially I know we've got lots of people on who are interested in internships, potentially full-time, entry-level full-time jobs, or experienced hire jobs. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just to see what may stick. Like, really believe in yourself and that you can do it, and know that you may not have 100% of everything on that list, but if you have the aptitude and the right attitude to get it done, that's more than half the battle there. So that's probably my practical advice, if you will, aside from all the great things that you get when you work here.
Absolutely. You've given some great information, and it's some great encouragement as well. So I'm sure our viewers certainly appreciate that. We're gonna look into our next question. So can you talk about a moment when you felt that you truly belonged at Ford Motor Company? We're going to start this off with Cressida.
A moment where I felt I truly belong.
Yes, where you felt that you truly belonged at Ford.
For me, it's daily. I really do enjoy my job, but I would say especially when I get to, like, last 2 weeks ago we had dealer meeting, and it's kind of like a reunion where we have the dealers, but we also get to see a lot of people with Ford that you worked for in the past that you don't work with anymore, and they're there. And I get super excited for dealer meetings all the time because for me it's just a big, almost like a high school reunion, but it's with Ford, and I get to see so many people that I've crossed paths with. So, and it just fills my heart, and it just makes me feel super happy and excited, and it reminds me why I am here, because definitely, you know, you keep bumping into so many people and so many relationships, the people that have really helped you. And I will also say, in hard times, I've always felt that I really belong. And I will give an example. I'm from Puerto Rico, as you mentioned. And when Hurricane Maria happened in Puerto Rico, it was very hard times. I spent like a week without communicating with my family because I couldn't. And I remember the guy who was my boss at the time, he was like, "Crucita, do you want to go home? Like, do you really need to be here?" And I was like, "Yeah, like if I stay home, I'll just get crazier." So I prefer to come here and get my mind going. And every day when I show up in my desk, there would be batteries, flashlights, canned food, all kinds of stuff that my friends, my coworkers will leave in my desk just so I can ship to people in Puerto Rico. And that those moments, those days, you know you're not just a number, and that there's a true care about you. And it really meant a lot. I have so many solar lights that show up in my desk, and most of the time I didn't even know who it was, so it was hard to say thank you, but everybody was just dropping off stuff. My desk became like this collection center without me even noticing, and it was amazing. I was able to ship so many stuff to Puerto Rico.
Awesome. It sounds like the Ford family, were very supportive of you, but very supportive of your home as well. So I think that is awesome. Maya?
Yeah, I'd say I felt like I belonged for also kind of in a tough moment, but more work related. So as an FCG, I bounced around and I had an opportunity to work in a plant for about 9 months. And we had run into this really hot, big issue. It scaled the ladder. They were having meetings with the big guys every day about it. And I figured as the new kid, I was not going to get tasked with this, right? Like my boss was going to put me as far away from this thing as possible. He came to my desk. He was like, "Hey, I need you to spearhead this. I need you to get the team together. It spans multiple departments. I need you to figure it out, get the team together. And we have a deadline of like 3 or 4 days that we need to get this done by." So we brought the team together. We worked, day in, day out, trying to, put the fire out, and we did. And I'll never forget when we finally finished. We were eating donuts in celebration, and just kind of all hanging out and just laughing and having a good time, even though you would never know that we had been dealing with an issue that was like super high stress for 4 or 5 days, because everyone just brought a really positive attitude to it, and we all just tackled it to get it fixed. So that just really brought a sense of belonging for me, and also I think highlights sort of the mentality and the attitude that we carry as Ford employees. So
Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Danielle, same question.
Yeah, so we talked earlier, again, kind of going back to our ERGs, and just, again, reinforcing how important they are, at least for me, in my experience. We have in our HR fan group, we have a monthly call that started last year when we kind of got sent to our homes and we weren't having those casual connections and collisions and being able to really connect with one another. And so we started what we're calling a sister circle, and it is just monthly. It's an hour-long call where we talk about any and everything, right? We celebrate one another, personal and professional accomplishments. We talk about hair. We talk about travel. We talk about, things that are coming up with the job. We pray for one another. We pray for our family members if there's things that are going on that we, have prayer requests for. But it's just an opportunity where you can bring yourself. There's no filters. There's no code switching. You can just be you and, just talk about things that you want to talk about. And it's an important event. I look forward to each month where, again, I don't have to worry about, how I'm showing up, that I know that my sisters, right, my Ford sisters are supporting me, and I have the opportunity to really support them. And I'll also say that, my current director, she recognizes too that is an important event for me. So she makes sure to make room, for me to be able to attend those. If there's something kind of else going on and I say, hey, this is, schedule over that, she helps me to make room for it too, because it's very important to me. And it's a huge part of my well-being, and taking care of my well-being will in turn help me to be a more productive, person. So that's a really important piece that I want to call out, that, we're really making sure that we make space. Our people leaders are really learning and getting the tools and the mindsets to be able to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So support from the top down. I love that. I love that. So we have we have a few minutes left. I'm looking at some of the questions that are rolling in. Lots of great questions from folks who have recently tuned in, and folks who have been tuned in. Lots of great questions. So I'm going to ask this question. It may be our last one. It was definitely one that was viewer submitted. So, what is your favorite Ford vehicle?
Oh,
We're gonna we are going to start with Maya.
I would have to go with the Mach-E. In my last rotation, I got the opportunity to drive it, and that thing is so fun to drive. Our team knocked it out of the park with just, you feel so like luxurious in it, but then it's super fun to drive. It's an awesome vehicle.
Yes, love the Mach-E. Cressida, sounds like.
I was gonna say the Mach-E too. That's kind of like the new thing. It's so cool. I love it. But okay, Maya, I'll give you the Mach-E, and then I will go with the
Okay.
Bronco Sport. I really like the off-road adventure look of, and I'll go with the Bronco Sport because I don't know if I can drive like very big vehicles, and the Bronco Sport is petite.
It's the perfect size, yes. Danielle.
okay, yes, trifecta on the Mach-E. That was my first choice as well. I traded a coworker of mine her vehicle for the week. I drive an Explorer, and she needed a bigger car. And I think I sold 4 or 5 of them. Just when you pull up and people ask you questions and they just want to know, what it is. They want to look inside of it, and it is a fantastic vehicle. And the charging was simple and everything. So definitely Mach-E. But if I had to pick a different one, I'd probably go with like the Aviator. I am going to recognize my bouginess and embrace I do love the design of the Lincolns as well. So I will go with the Aviator. It's kind of a close second to the Mach-E for me.
Yes, love the Aviator as well. Really love the Mach-E. Oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about it. I love it. Yes. So I want to thank you all. Thank you all for being panelists today as we are wrapping things up. I want to thank the students who I'm sorry. I want to thank the students who have attended and who are on the line now, and also thank the students who have submitted questions. These were lots of great questions, lots of engaging questions. I do want to mention that if you are interested in our internships and our careers, always log on to careers.ford.com to look at our open positions. We will, our internships are posted, and we have lots of other positions that are posted as well. So always start there to see what's out there. But once again, I want to thank you all for attending, and I want you all to have a great night. I wish you the best.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Goodbye.